Hey Nis, here's my letter to you, and thank you so much for doing this. The first thing you need to know is that peppermint is in constant heat, and if you hear like weird yelling sounds, that's Peppy in the background. I hope she stays away and she's not gonna jump on my desk again. Okay, back to the letter. First thing you need to know is that I come from a Latina family. The family tie is strong, and it is very normal for us to live together with all kinds of family members. Growing up, my cousins were my best friends, not by choice. My family is also very racist towards outsiders. Unless you are linked to my family by marriage or blood, you have no business interacting with us. My dad is the most stereotypical Mexican husband in the worst way possible. He's loud, mean, money hungry, uneducated, demands respect for absolutely nothing, and rude in ways you cannot imagine. He's a hard worker, believes in God and punishment. Sounds great. My mother is a traditional housewife that pops out children annually. I just gotta say, the way Patricia wrote that letter, I know it's a very serious topic, but the sarcasm and irony that she pops, like, it's very entertaining. Okay, so that pops out children annually. Where was I? All she does is cleaning, cooking, yelling, and giving birth. Growing up, I never had a moment to myself. Even bathroom time was not private. My family members are all overweight, and their entire life evolves around eating food, yelling, complaining, and eating more food. I used to be really fat too, and always hated myself for being just another copy of all the people in my family. It's as if someone has hit copy paste 56 times. Thanks to you, I've managed to move out of this hellhole last year. And while I finally feel free physically, I'm still not free emotionally, mentally, and energetically. I'm turning 28 this year, and I feel like I should be significantly more independent than I actually am. I have managed to get myself a white boyfriend, and thanks to his amazing family, I feel more welcome and much better in my own skin. I even managed to lose 25 pounds since I have moved out without actually changing too much. However, my family does not respect my choices at all. Whenever I show up at family gatherings, which happens pretty much every weekend, I get verbally abused, criticized, and dragged down. None of my choices or desires are acceptable. Everything I do is wrong and a disgrace to the family. Chesh. When I lost the weight, they immediately asked me why I want to look like a boy and if my gringo boyfriend is gay, and if that's the reason I chose to make myself hideous and look like a man. I am in no way skinny. I still have to lose at least 50 plus pounds to even be considered average healthy. My choice of lifestyle is also constantly criticized, no matter what I do. Unless it's family approved, I get to eat shit from them. I really don't want to lose them. I love them, but I can't do this anymore. I'm scared to lose my boyfriend too because my mental health takes such a toll in our relationship. He wants to support me and loves me, but the stress he has to deal with due to my horrible family is so immense. I am worried he won't stay with me for much longer. Self-improvement is a foreign word for my family, and every attempt at it gets immediately shut down, criticized, and punished. Please help me in this. Your videos have already, I lost my track. Your videos have already changed me and my life so much for the better. There we are. But I feel like I am hitting a limit hitting limits, plural, at a very early stage, and I have no idea how to handle the situation to get out of it. I feel stunted in my development, and I'm constantly scared, anxious, and down. How can I change this? Much love, Patricia. Okay, as I mentioned before, this is a lot to unpack here. And I want to start by kind of explaining and talking about the reasons for why a family can be that freakishly hostile to their own family members, right? This is something that a lot of us have experienced in some way, shape, or form. I don't know if your experience with your family has been consistently like that, or if it's just very obvious to you right now because you are in the process of getting out of there, right? You have already changed a lot, and you are in the process of just removing yourself completely from that and you have some attachment issues with the not wanting to leave them. We're going to talk about this later. But the thing is that when we grow up with like a dysfunctional family, and it doesn't matter on what level they are dysfunctional, and it doesn't matter how strong the abuse is, it's just like the second something is dysfunctional for us, it's a shit show for us, right? And dysfunctional families can also mean that, just like for all the other people here that are watching this or will watch this in the future and resonate with it, dysfunctional can also be that the family itself is actually healthy, right? That they are pretty damn evolved, that they are smart, that they do what one would consider to be good by society standards, right? You can look really shiny and pretty on the outside, but the dynamic of the family between the different generations can still be freakishly toxic, dysfunctional, and abusive. So in your case, Patricia, you seem to have like a very kind of old mindset family, a family that is stuck in the past, right? But in general, when it comes to clashes and contrast with or in between family members, it is because the different generations have different needs than you, right? So how do I say this? I know how to say this. Okay. The reason why new, fresh, younger generations struggle so much with the older generations, whether it's older siblings even, whether it's their parents or it's like grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever, is because each of these generations have learned something and experienced something very specific and unique to them. They grew up in a very specific world with very specific standards, and their unique view got created, their unique self-concept and their unique worldview got created by whatever they have experienced in their lifetime. Now, in the last, I don't know, 100 years or so, humans have made an immense step forward when it comes to development and changes, right? So the change from the outside world change that impacts your development when you grow up has changed drastically. The outside has evolved so freakishly fast that it is not easy for every single human being to actually keep up with that change, right? So what your grandparents have experienced is uniquely to them, but they only have their own experience. And even though they are still alive, and even though they are still around, and they are right now living in the exact same world, objectively speaking, as you are, their personal, subjective world is very different from yours, right? They have made experiences that you will never make, and you make experiences or have made experiences that are completely so loud, that are completely out of reach for them. I don't know, she's crying for a little kitty boy to come. She's only 1 year old. She's like way too young for that crap. Anyways, the thing is that the circumstances and upbringing of your family members, doesn't matter who it is, have made them develop specific needs, values, standards, and desires. A specific sense of what is normal, what is appropriate, what is good, and what is bad. And it works for them. Works, you know, most of these people are on autopilot anyways and don't think about it, but it kind of like works for them in terms of they don't die, right? They don't suffer tremendously. They just like are stuck in their little, potentially very uncomfortable comfort bubble, and that's it. Now you come as a new generation, younger, into a different world, into a different objective reality, have different experiences. Therefore, you develop a different set of values and a different set of goals and different desires, right? It's very, very different from your, even just your older siblings or some of your cousins who are older than you. It's very, very different. Now, your set of values and your needs and what you bring to the table and what you deem to be normal and good and appropriate and not clashes with what they deem to be normal, appropriate, and good and what not, right? But they only have this very small, limited understanding. It's unfortunately for the majority of humans, it's the truth that people don't really leave their own mental boxes, and it's not normal, even though we have all the capability to open up our horizon and experience something more, and we all have the option to go with the change rather than against it or being stuck in the past. We all have this opportunity, but it's not something that happens automatically. It happens on a biological level within our teenage years when we hit puberty. There is something where our hormones and our brain chemistry and all of the stuff that happens, right? All of that like craziness that's going on within your body is driving you towards testing out becoming the exact opposite of your parents or of that what you are used to. This is kind of the only time in a human's lifespan, standard human's lifespan, where we are actually driven to go to the opposite. And after puberty, that's kind of it. So every change, every step outside of the mental or emotional box or logical box, whatever fucking box it is, right? Every step out of this after puberty is based on your willpower and your determination and your decision. I'm doing that. That's it, right? Puberty is kind of the only natural push. It's the only time where the standard human has this natural drive for change and radically expressing the opposite, right? So this is something that we need to understand. And a lot of people do not seize the opportunity of puberty. A lot of people do not go wild. A lot of people do not develop as a reckless, rebel without a cause kind of person, right? A lot of people are just from their, how is it called, affirmative years, I think, like you're from when you were born to when you're like maybe hit around the age of 12 or something like that, before you are a teenager, essentially. They are so already stunted and attached to pleasing the expectations of the family members that even when their own body and system drives them into go against it, do something different, break out of this, they are suppressing it, and they are more comfortable because it seems less risky to just stick to the expectations as best as they can, right? Being a rebel, you have to eat a lot of shit there. Like you have to fight a lot, and it's not very easy, but equally so, bending yourself to please the expectations of your family members is equally uncomfortable. And from my perspective, I am a rebel. I've been a rebel. I will never stop being a rebel. From my perspective, the idea of really giving in and adjusting myself to other people's expectations is absolute nightmare. Like I cannot even imagine. I would be torture for me even just to consider to do this. It's just such a strong no. It's like, oh God, no, I would lose myself completely. And that is actually frightening for me, right? While somebody who is not set up like this, who is not designed the way I am designed, right? The way all of us rebels are designed, it might be equally horrifying and scary as hell and torturous. And oh my God, I could never to think about actually breaking the rules, going against and cutting ties and being a rebel and just being you. It can be equally scary, right? So we all have actually only two options when we are in a dysfunctional family. And I guess that everybody who's ever going to watch this video is coming from a dysfunctional family, because why else would you watch this, right? As children of dysfunctional, immature parents, grandparents, and other family members, we actually only have two options. We can either decide to give ourselves up, we can decide to take on the role of a false actor, and we can decide to please our parents and other family members' values and expectations and whatnot by becoming what we believe they want us to be, according to their criticism, judgment, and what they teach us. We do this at the cost of our authentic self. We do this at the cost of our own satisfaction as who we are. But we do this for the gaining of being connected, being a part of the family, not being alone and not having to freaking die on your own, right? Or we do the other option, that would be sticking to your authentic self, really standing up for this, really being like, nope, that's me. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care what you're doing. I will stick to myself. Like whatever may happen, unconditionally, I stand by myself, essentially. And while this might feel pleasant because you get to be your authentic self, and it is a little bit, you feel more powerful, definitely. You do it at the cost of losing connection. You do it at the cost of losing comfort, of losing stability, of losing resources, of losing love, of losing a lot of people. And we are tribal creatures, and our brain is still kind of not developed like that anymore, but we are still living under those conditions or those mental structures and ideas of, oh shit, if I get pushed out of the clan, out of the tribe, it means I'm gonna die, right? This idea of being scared of being alone, I'm not gonna make it on my own. That's the thing. So either you give yourself up and you do it, you become a part of this family, kind of like Patricia said it. It's like as if somebody had hit copy paste like 50 something times, right? Either that and you struggle, or you stand to yourself, you stand by yourself, you stay authentic, but then you're on your own, right? So we have those two options, and that's it. That is basically all that we get when we grow up in a dysfunctional family. And both options can be really freaking scary. And for a lot of times, that's the reason why I want to like talk about this first before I go specifically into what you can do here, because we really need to freaking understand that when we are children and we get pushed out or we get criticized or we get any form of those 6 big fat core wounds, right? When we get abused in any way, shape, or form along these lines, we always think it's our fault. We always think it's because of us. Something within me must be completely messed up or wrong, because otherwise, why would the people who literally gave birth to me, my creators in this physical plane, why would they treat me like this? There is no explanation for why I would receive this treatment, for why I would have to experience this shit show if there wasn't something severely wrong with me. This is how you think as a child. This is why you internalize everything. And this is why even when your parents are fighting over a shoe that has nothing to do with you whatsoever, you see them fighting as a child and you internalize it and you're like, oh my God, it has to be something about me. We are very me, and very like self-centered as children, which is a necessity. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But the problem is that we as children do not have developed a strong enough or clear enough intellect to actually decipher between what is really about me and what is absolutely not me, what has nothing to do with me, and what do I not have to take on. We just take it all on. That's it. And then when we grow up, we kind of get like this level of resentment towards those people, because we understand that what I grew up with to be my norm, what is a beige flag for me essentially, is in all reality the most scarlet red fucking flag in the universe. It is horrible and it's not okay, but I grew up like this, so this is my norm. And what the fuck is up? Like, what up here? Like, how dare those people? But I don't know what to do right now, because, well, my norm is completely screwed. I don't have a clear picture of what is okay and what isn't. It's like, whether you give in to your family, kind of like you did, Patricia, or whether you are more like me and you go against it, you have a very screwed, distorted view of what is normal and what isn't. So it's really important to understand that no matter how horrible your family members may act, and how shitty it is and how bad it is, for the most part, the majority of family members, parents and whatnot, no matter how abusive they are not doing it out of ill will. This is super fucking important to understand. You really have to, oh God, understand on every level humanly possible that every time somebody acts shitty towards you, it is a display, evidence, and proof of their lack issue of something with something, and it has nothing to do with you. You really have to understand this, especially when you are walking around the realms of manifestation and stuff like that. There's a lot of, you have to take all the responsibility, you have to take all the accountability. It's all your fault, you manifested that, blah 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 blah. It's not true. It is not correct. You do not manifest people being assholes. People are assholes, period. You do not manifest people being dumb shits. They are dumb fucks. They are just like that. However, what you do have control over is how often and in what ways you actually get to rendezvous with them. This is in your power. This is where you get to have control and have the free will to decide, right? This is your responsibility. How much do I actually engage and interact with these dipshits? But you are not responsible for them being stupid. You are not responsible for them being uneducated, dumb, abusive, cruel, aggressive, shallow, cold, I don't know, whatever the fuck negative attribute. You are not responsible for that. You really need to understand that. We need to start getting away mentally and emotionally from this like self-blame. We need to start getting away from the negative, detrimental style of taking responsibility and accountability. Responsibility and accountability can be something completely liberating. It can be something that makes you feel so good and so strong. It can be something that when you really seize it in a healthy way, really makes you feel like, shit, I'm mature. Like, I am mature. I really got this, right? And then you take the responsibility not as a burden, but as empowerment. You actually have responsibility over yourself. You are accountable for what is happening, not necessarily always to you, but how you're dealing with it. You are accountable for how your life plays out, definitely. And this is something very empowering. But when we're constantly dealing with dipshits, especially when we are in transition phases, right? Now, you said you moved last year, but I don't think it was that long ago. If I remember correctly, in your case, you moved like around October last year. So it's been like, what, half a year now. Half a year is still in transition, and you can see it in yourself and in your like day-to-day life. Even though you have severed the tie physically, you are not actually gone. You are not actually disconnected from that. You are still living mentally and emotionally in the same hellhole. And this is normal. You are in a transition phase here, and it takes some time. I disconnected completely from my abusive ass family when I was about 16, 17. And I started this process of completely fucking off, never to be seen again. I don't care who you are to me. When I was around 12, that was when I started like having the intention of, I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to move away. I need to live on my own, right? And then it took me so many years, like so many years, like 3 years or 4 years, whatever. Come on, it's not that big of a deal. But it took me all those years to really get to this place within myself to be able to just move out, right? And then I was finally free. I did not live with my primary abuser anymore. And then a few months down the line, circumstances changed and things happened, and the primary abuser of my life moved in with me. Right next in the other room was my roommate, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, what else do I have to do to get the fuck away from this? How can my family be so goddamn stupid to allow the reason for why I needed to leave and move out in first place to now live with me again? What the hell, right? So when I look back at this time, now I can laugh about this because I'm over it. I've worked through it. I'm now 31 years old, right? I'm not a teenager anymore. I understand the whole freaking enchilada. I know what happened there. And I can see the irony in how this happened. And I can also see how I did not have boundaries. Duh, I was a teenager. I didn't even know what the hell boundaries are, right? So I did not have boundaries. And it took me then another year to finally completely step out of this and say, I'm going to go get my own apartment. Like, fuck sharing an apartment. I'm not doing this anymore. And then I got my apartment that was finally free, like from that abuser. But when I was detached from that specific one, another even worse version swooped into my life in the form of a stepfather. Like, congratulations. It was just one shit show after another. And we need to really understand that when we hit this, like when we have this constant repetitive bullshit, sometimes it has a different face, it has a different butt. But when we have, and Peppy's here, when we have this like repetition of the same crap over and over and over again, this is the part where we need to take the accountability and be like, okay, something about me is not working. Like, I'm doing something wrong here, right? I am doing, or not something wrong, but I have not yet changed. I'm still doing the same things that I used to do that got me into this mess in first place, right? I am not, oh my God, he's so cute. I am still behaving the same way. I'm still thinking the same way. I still have a similar level of awareness. Maybe I'm more aware now, but I'm like, essentially, I'm still the same freaking person. I'm still the sameness that I have been all these years ago. This is not OnlyFans, Peppermint. You are showing your behind in a very questionable manner. It's so cute. So the reason why I'm saying this is because you are kind of doing the same, and it's okay. Again, we've all been there, done that. But my girlie, Patricia, you, even though you have moved out, you said it in the email. Let me actually find that. Wait. Yum, yum, yum. This is fucking hilarious. So this is where you need to have awareness and be like, oh shit, yeah, I need to stop doing that. Whenever I show up at family gatherings, why the fuck do you show up there? Which happens pretty much every weekend. I get verbally abused, criticized, and dragged down. The fuck? Why do you show up at family gatherings? You moved out half a year ago-ish, right? You say you feel some kind of freedom because you're geographically removed from them now, but you're telling me you're, oh, that's freaking deep. Nah, go away. You're telling me that you are geographically removed from them and that feels better, but in all reality, you are not geographically removed from them whatsoever because you show up at those family gatherings pretty much every weekend. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why do you still go there? This is something where you don't have to meditate. You don't have to affirm. You don't have to make a freaking vision board. None of it. This is something where your actions need to be in alignment with your decisions and your choices. You said, I want to get out of this hellhole. I want to be on my own. I want to be independent. You even question yourself, or you even said in your email that you feel like you're significantly less independent than who you or how you should be, right? At your age, at what was it, 20, 28 or something like that, right? Which is like, just sidetrack here. When I was 28, my brain was still not done developing. Like when I was 28, I already believed that I have the wisdom of the universe cramped in every cell of my body. But now being 31, looking back at 28-year-old me, I'm like, oh, honey, you're an idiot, right? So don't worry about that. Once you hit 30, life changes, your brain changes, something inside of you changes, something just like snaps into place. And you see that the pressure that you've put on yourself, even in your late 20s, is just completely misplaced. As a 28-year-old, you're still a baby in my eyes. Like, I look at the 28-year-old and I'm like, oh, well, they're still babies. It's okay. Maybe teenagers, okay? Maybe not like completely newborn babies, but like maybe like a 12-year-old. It's fine. And I even look at myself now that I actually have experienced the other side. I look at myself now being 31 and I'm like, God, I'm such like so young. Like I cannot even fucking imagine how much I'm going to change once I hit my 40s and 50s and 60s and my 200s and however long I'm gonna live. We'll see, right? We're gonna figure that out as we go. But It's just something that often, now that you are 28, you think, oh, the big 30 is right around the corner, right? So you think, now I need to act in something, like I need to like be like this, and I need to blah, blah, blah. And you put all those pressure bull craps onto yourself, and it's just so not necessary. You're still kind of like a bebe to me and enjoy being a bebe, right? You learn to be independent step by step by step. You do not have to fulfill your own screwed picture of expectations. So that's just a sidetrack here. But what I really advise you to do is to put your money where your mouth is. You say you want to get out, you say you want to be free, and yet you show up every single freaking weekend, or almost every single weekend, and then you wonder why you are still not independent, and you wonder why you are still emotionally and energetically and mentally entangled with those people. What up, right? And you're gonna probably say, yeah, but Nis, I love them, they're my family. You even said it in your email. I love them and I don't want to lose them. And I call bullshit. You don't love them. Why the hell would you? You have no reason to love them. People grow up with the idea of, oh, well, because my parents gave me life and gave me food and gave me shelter and gave me a whole bunch of trauma and wounds and shitty things, but they gave me, right? They put me in school, they gave me my lunchbox, they bought clothes for me. A lot of people, or some, no, that's actually correct. A lot of people are under the impression that they now owe their parents something. And that's not true. If you are a parent and you decide to have children, the entire package of taking care of those children is just a consequence. It's what comes with it. You cannot have children, decide to become a parent, and then be like, oh, but I gave you food and shelter. Yeah, you also gave me life. Like, I did not, like, you didn't ask me to be your child. You just made it, right? It was your freaking decision, and this is the consequence of it. Why the hell do I need to be grateful for your decisions? Do you think my cats are constantly like waking up every day being like super freaking grateful that I am their mother and that I provide them with food and shelter and 10 million kisses on their tiny little heads? No, it's a given. They don't owe me anything. I have chosen to bring them into my life. Granted, I did not give birth to them. I would have if I could have, but it's also a little weird. But I still took them on. I adopted them as my own. They are me. They are little, furry, adorable, stinky extensions of myself. And therefore, I have the freaking responsibility to give them their best life. And nobody owes me shit for that. They do not have to give back. It's not their purpose, right? And a lot of people are under the impression that just because their parents did not let them starve and die, they now owe their parents love, respect, compassion, care. No. This is some bullshit that we developed. It's not bad if you have a healthy, functional relationship to your family members. But again, people here now watching this won't have that. It's bullshit when you have a dysfunctional relationship or family. We developed this stuff like sometime, I don't know how many thousands of years ago, back in the Stone Age or whatever, where people needed to live in those big family packs. And it was not the invention of the youngest generation that thought, oh, I love my mommy and daddy so much, and my grandparents and my great-grandparents and all of them, and that's why I want to cater to them and take care of them. No, it was the idea of the old dying people that were or became somewhat incapable of caring for themselves, that now saw the younglings, the fresh meat, as, hey, that is a source of comfort and something that I can rely on, and a resource that I can use for myself. This is why we started this entire enchilada of living together and taking care of each other. There is no actual real freaking tie between you and your family members. Really not. It's a chosen one. It's not by nature. Yeah, they give birth to you. There might be some soul level entanglement there, but in all reality, just because they are blood relatives or relatives by marriage or some bullshit like that, it doesn't mean shit. It does not mean anything. Just because you are family or considered family does not mean that I owe you anything. It does not mean that I owe you my love or my respect or my patience. And it definitely does not mean that I owe you self-sacrifice on myself. It's not. It's no. People always have this idea of, oh, we need to love unconditionally, and it's love and light, and it's love and light. I'm like, how about no? How about fucking no? I do not have to love jack fucking shit unconditionally. Why would I? It's just a construct of society. And just because that particular stream area of society considers themselves to be hippies or spiritual or better people and in alignment and love and light and crap like that, doesn't mean that what they say and the social standards and structures that they pull out of their little buttholes are actually true, helpful, or good for us. It doesn't mean that. Just because some guru duty or do that over there who, I don't know, meditates 20 minutes a day, said that I shall be love and light and I shall love unconditionally. It doesn't mean that it's correct. It doesn't mean shit. It does not mean shit. And family ties do not mean shit when they are dysfunctional. When they are functional and healthy, it's a completely different story. Then there is mutual beneficial stuff on both sides, the older generations and the younger generations, right? Where we can learn from each other, take care of each other, and they grow together as a community. But again, we're talking about the dysfunctional stuff. Who the hell tells you that you need to love your parents unconditionally? Who told you that? Who says that? Show me the person that actually, honestly, truly, authentically loves their dysfunctional parents unfucking conditionally. Show me. I don't believe in that. They don't exist, and you cannot convince me otherwise, other than by actually giving me empirical freaking evidence on that. Because I don't believe it. It does not make sense. Who told us? Who shat into our brain so hard that we are under the impression that we need to love shit unconditionally? Who said this? Sounds very narcissistic to me. Sounds like a narcissist and manipulator would tell this to others for the sake of being loved unconditionally, for the sake of having the freedom to completely fuck with other people's boundaries, mess with them, be cruel, be mean and abusive. But I'm your mother, I'm your father, I'm your boyfriend, I'm your cousin, I'm your God knows what you are. So that's why you need to love me unconditionally. I think not. I think the only person that I need to love unconditionally is my own ass, okay? I need to love me, and I need to love myself more than any idea, construct, or concept that stems from society. You need to understand that whether the society is completely on autopilot, or the society is in the manifesting realm, or the society is in whatever other realm, it is a fucking societal concept, and society is not good for the individual whatsoever. Society is good for the structure of society, for the sake of keeping what is the status quo alive. Right, Peppermint? That's it. So for the most part, what comes from bigger crowds, what comes out of society, every kind of society, is actual bullshit. It's not good. It's not innovative. It's not for evolution. It's not for improvement. Really fucking not. You, like, understand that in your brains, right? So you do not have to love your family. I do not love my family. I have two very big families had. Most of them, thank God, are dead. Right? They croaked. They are gone. Thank fucking God. I'm still relieved about that. I am still to this day grateful that the worst motherfuckers, when it comes to my family, have just flat out ceased to exist. That they just left me the hell alone. You're giving like a show. Oh my God. Okay, no. Excuse me. Go away. She got a little bit too excited here, especially when I touched her little bum bum. Okay. Cat child pornography. Okay, where was I? So I come from two very large families, an Arabic one and an European one, right? And I personally do not like the majority of them, and I do not love any of them unconditionally whatsoever. I very much like my mom. I really, really love her, and it's still that even her is not unconditional. if my mom were to go back to the old ways, if my mother would, it's impossible to happen. But like, let's say in a parallel universe in how is it called? I'm thinking about DC, this like other dark universe. It'll come or not, who cares? So, in a dark parallel universe version of my mother, if she were to slide back into who she used to be back in the days, I would immediately cut off all kinds of contact, and I don't care. I would just like, snip, no, you gone. Thank you. That's my boundary. I fucking love myself, and I take a lot of care of myself. And if somebody is constantly breaking my boundaries and going against me, then you have to go. And I don't care if you're my mother, my brother, my twin sister, my cousin, uncle, whoever the fuck you are. I do not have to love you unconditionally. So let's take this entire idea of, but they're all my family, which is also just a societal construct, and that's it, right? Let's take this idea and actually put it into something that is practical, something that we can actually work with here, okay? You grew up with these people, with these like 50-something thousand people. You grew up with them, so you have some kind of emotional ties to them. You also have some wounds, you also have some attachment there, right? There's also some things where you just are habitual. You have the habit of being with those people, right? Your cousins have been your best friends, not by choice, but hey, they were still around. That means that as much as you have negative experience with those people, you also have a few good moments, and the good moments is what keeps that attachment going, right? That's the same like when somebody falls into limerence and gets obsessed with their specific person. It's the tiny, puny, tiny little, the 5 seconds of bliss that is put on the scale against potentially months or years of complete chaos and bullshit and trauma and horrible things, right? So you gotta like stop thinking about what was good there. Yes, you had good experiences. Yeah, there were fun times, and yes, there's definitely a lot of good like the things that you've experienced, just good lessons that you learned, good like options and opportunities and whatnot that come from the life that you have lived. And I understand that. But instead of going the route of I love them, I don't want to lose them, how about when they are far away from me, I can unconditionally appreciate them, right? Not fucking love. Like, stop being so dramatic and amplified in your language there. I appreciate them. I appreciate my abusive grandma. I am completely glad and relieved that she died, that she is not on this planet anymore. I'm really relieved that this witch is gone. Horrible woman, right? But I still appreciate her role that she played in my development. I see what she did. I understand why she did it. I see the entire enchilada of connections and patterns and whatnot. And I see how I got the opportunity to take this entire pile of shit that I got from this and turn it into gold, turn it into a superpower. I know that a lot of my very good qualities and where I'm really good, my good attributes, my good, like my freaking superpowers are due to the crap that I have experienced with her. And there was not a lot good, I gotta say that, but sometimes there is like maybe 1 or 2 memories that I have that were not completely horrible, that were actually kind of like pleasant-ish. I once had a conversation with her about lipsticks. That was nice, right? So, oh God, horrible lady. So you can, as long as these people are far away from you, unconditionally appreciate them. Totally. You can even fucking love them if you really want to be like that dramatic and going, it needs to be loved. By all means, love unconditionally. But the second somebody enters your general vicinity, enters your aura, enters your home, enters you as a person, starts interacting with you, there are conditions to your love. There need to be conditions to your love. There are sure conditions to my love. And these are called boundaries. That's it. It's not that I am incapable of unconditionally loving people. It's just that I choose to unconditionally love myself. primarily Emma cats. I hope you can hear what Peppy's doing in the background. It's hilarious. And so well timed. So I love myself, and therefore I have boundaries. And my boundaries are conditions. You have to, let's turn this around. In order for me to give myself my time, my patience, my appreciation, my whatever the fuck it is you want from me, in order to give myself in some way, shape, or form to you, you gotta show up in a specific way. If you do not show up in a specific way, there's the door. Leave. Get away from me. I will not interact with you. I will not lend you my ear, my time, or my shoulder to cry on if you are showing up in a version, in a way that does not match, that clashes is the word, that clashes with my boundaries. Boundaries are conditions. And they need to happen, because otherwise you're gonna go down the rabbit hole of people pleasing, and you're just gonna stretch yourself out thin, and you're just gonna lose yourself again. Why the fuck would you do this? Why do you think you need to self-sacrifice? You don't need to love people. Hell, there are people in my family that I hate. I don't like them. I do not fucking like them. And it's okay. You gotta understand that it is fucking okay. Out of my 2 very large families, there's a leftover of 4 people. That's it. Those were the ones where I was like, let's give this a shot, right? Let's really work on this. First, work on myself. Duh, you have to. And then let's see how far this can go. And the only one that is really side by side, level with me, is my mother. The other 3, somewhere else. There are conditions there. And I only allow myself to interact with them and them to interact with me when they are actually showing up at least 95% the way I need them to show up, in terms of the way I allow them to interact with me. Boundaries, right? So what you're doing by going back to your family, being all like, oh, I don't want to lose them. This is a wound response. This is, you don't want to be alone because, well, you've quite frankly have never been alone. So even when you moved out, you kind of pretty quickly got a boyfriend there. That's not necessarily because you are ready for a relationship or because he's the love of your life or anything. It's just simply because you are not used to being alone. So your default manifestation is having a connection to somebody, right? I mean, I'm very glad that your connection to this person right now also brings with him a nice family, so that you can now actually experience what a healthier version of a family looks like. That's amazing. Experiencing the opposite of abuse is healing, essentially, right? So that's awesome for you. But I also got to say, the dude is a match to you. So the dude is sorry, I don't want to burst your bubble here or give you any seeds of doubt or some bullshit or fear or anything. I'm just saying the dude is a match to you. Right? And wherever the hell you are, your partner is always a match to you. So if you come from a dysfunctional family, I can guarantee you there's dysfunction in his family as well. And it might actually, if you get over the initial trigger of what I just said, if you really think about it, it might actually be good, because you also struggle with believing, you struggle with the idea of him actually sticking to you, actually being by your side, because you think that your mental health and what you bring from your family is too much for him to carry, right? But if you understand that dude is a match to you, he also has dysfunction in his family, it looks completely different. The way it manifests for him, completely different story, right? Different objective and subjective reality on his side. But the structure, the core of it matches that what you have experienced. It might be the opposite. It might be that he's the more rebel one, and he comes in to trigger the living hell out of you, to be like the rebel, to be like, come on, stand up for yourself, girlie. What the hell are you doing here, right? Might be that he's exactly the same as you. We have different variations of how we manifest ourselves within our partners. They're different types, 3 big ones, but very fine little ones that can be like very a little bit like sometimes you have to like think around the corner, not to be like, oh, that's how this is me. Oh, now I understand that, right? So yeah, but if you think about it, you think that what you bring, like your baggage essentially, is too much for this relationship, and eventually you're gonna lose them. You think this because you have this fear of being alone, because you have quite frankly never been alone. So that's number one. It's very uncomfortable to contemplate the idea of being alone. Let's start there. But number two, you don't think that he, with his perfect little happy family, is going to be able to handle your bullshit. And I say, nah, he is, because he has the same crap going on. So you actually have met another person that has the same issues, just in different ways, and therefore I can guarantee you he can handle it. You do not have to stress or worry about this. You're not too much, like really not. And the crap that you bring from your family is also not too much. And I encourage you to take a step back from your own family and your own issues. Really, like, don't go there. Like, do not go there anymore. Do not go there anymore. Do not go there anymore. I cannot make myself more clear than to say, do not fucking go there anymore. You cannot go back to hell and then cry about still being emotionally, mentally, and whatnot, energetically attached to fucking hell. You gotta stop going there. And once you stop going there, actually take a step back from your own issues and listen to what your boyfriend has to say. Ask him about his family. Because you are very self-centered right now. You are, quite frankly, incapable of seeing whatever the fuck is going on with him, because you are so in such an overwhelming situation that your resources only are available to you. It's only enough to keep you going, not to take care of him or worry even about him. And this is why you have like this grandiose idea of his family being amazing and him being amazing, but you bringing all the crap. But again, he is a match to you. Otherwise, he would not be your boyfriend. You would not be together, right? So taking a step back here, being like, okay, you know what? I do not go there anymore, okay? And then I take a few days to like chill the hell out. Be like, okay, just like meditate, okay? Calm down. Be like, okay, I'm a grown-ass woman. It's all right. It's all right. Even my body tells me that staying the hell away from these people is good. And it shows me that by losing the weight without actually changing the diet. The fat that you have gathered around your body is a protective shield. It's the like, well, I cannot be fucking on my own here. I cannot be my own person. So I need to keep all those people away from me. I need to protect myself. And this is why you like slapped on fat and layers of fat and whatnot. This is for the protective. It's protective for you. It's for you. Even when you get like fat as a freaking land whale, it's for you. Your body does not do this to you for the sake of punishing you or embarrassing you or making your life harder. On the contrary, every physical manifestation, even stuff like cancer and other ailments, are there for you. No, it sounds twisted. You gotta like sit with this and think about this and really do your research here to fully understand this. But everything your body does, he does it for you. So you losing 20 plus pounds already within half a year, which is like fantastic. Congratulations to that, right? Or for that. You losing that weight naturally without actually having to do anything means that your body is like, finally, I do not have to carry all these like this armor of fat around me. I can let go. You didn't lose the weight, you released it. You didn't need it anymore. Your body said, well, thank fucking God, I am safe here. I am not constantly under attack anymore, so I can just, I can let go of the weight. Isn't that amazing, right? But you potentially going to plateau at some time or struggle real hard if you keep going back, okay? So stop going back. Do not go back anymore. Completely disconnect. Let those people come to you, okay? Allow yourself to have replacements for the places that they held. You do not need 50-something people around you. Nobody needs that. You need like maybe you need one partner, maybe a really good friend and a mama, according to me. Maybe a good dad, right? But you don't need a significant amount of people. You don't need a huge amount of freaking friends. 4 people. I survive, I thrive on 4 people. That's excluding my friends, but I mean, I don't need them, honestly. I like that they are there, and I like spending time with them, but I do not depend on them. So I don't know if I even would count my friends here whatsoever. But it's for people that I need, not even. It's actually just me that I need, but it's better to do it with other people as well. But you don't need like a huge ass freaking family of 50 something people. And you also do not have to call your cousins your best friends whatsoever. They are your cousins. They exist. They're in the same shithole as you are, right? So this is so important. And then take the step back and look at your boyfriend, who he actually is and what he actually has. And trust me, he has baggage. He will have baggage, and it's okay. And it should give you an understanding that you're in this together, and that he actually does get you, that he really does understand you, because, well, he has baggage too, right? And that makes it potentially, hopefully, easier for you to accept his love and accept him being around and accept that he will not leave you, right? Do not go into crazy mode and force manifest his ass out of your life. It's not necessary, really not. You can just accept it. Have him, be grateful for him, appreciate him, right? And understand that he is a match to you. And he is not some alien who comes from a perfect family with a perfect background who now has the burden of being with you. No, he's there by choice because you are such a good match. So enjoy that part. Last thing I want to mention real quickly is that the reason why people get so freakishly triggered by you, for instance, that like you are the one in your family that has started losing weight and now they are being mean to you and even insulting your boyfriend, calling him like whatnot slurs. I think you censored your email to me. I know you, so I'm pretty sure that you censored that already harsh email. And they do this because they get scared. It's pretty much literally that people who live, let's work with some analogies and metaphors here. People who are living in the darkness and who are used to their darkness, they tell themselves, even though they are aware that this is darkness and it's not nice and it's not who they want to be or where they want to be, but they tell themselves that this is how it's supposed to be. It's a justification to avoid having to change yourself. Again, it's only in puberty where we have this natural drive to really change. After that, it is willpower, determination, and decision making. It doesn't come from your body anymore. It really has to come from you, your mind, who you are as a person. So most people who are beyond puberty don't want to change. It is uncomfortable and they don't know what to do or how to do it or how to go about it anyway. So they try their best to, instead of igniting change, justify where they are. This victim mentality at its finest. But this is what they do. So they have all their reasons and justifications for why their life looks like this. And they have their reasons and justifications for why, in your case, they're all fat as fuck, right? So they are fat. And instead of thinking about health concerns or wellness concerns or just like freedom of movement concerns, right? Instead of thinking about that, because it's such an unimaginable big change that they would have to go through, which is bullshit, by the way. Again, you saw it yourself. You just had to get the fuck away from there and you started losing weight without having to change anything, right? You didn't randomly start hitting the gym or anything. It just happened, right? But for them, the difference between being at a healthy body weight or being obese is so severe that they don't know how to get there. And they think that it would cost them an arm and a leg. I mean, technically in pounds, yeah, to actually get to that side. And it's scary and there's a lot of risk. What if it doesn't happen? I'm going to get disappointed, blah, 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 blah. So they have all of their, like, within their little shitty ass dark comfort bubble, they have all those reasons stored for, well, this is just how women look like. You know, when you have like a family of a lot of fat females, they're like, oh yeah, it's my curves and I'm so sexy and I look like a goddess and this is how I'm supposed to look like as a woman. You're supposed to look like how the fuck you want to look like, honestly. Like nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. And like the taste and preferences of people are so vastly different. Some people are into skinny bitches, some people are into like land whales, and it's fine. And it's amazing that we have this variety in options, but like being radical and being discriminative discriminating grammar towards any other form, any other hair color, body shape, body size, race. It's also something from your family, right? Any other culture, background, whatever the fuck is discriminating these is just an act of self-preservation. If I were to not discriminate a slimmer female body, I would be very aware that I actually like something that I think is this way because it needs to be this way. I make the experience that it doesn't have to. And I see that now my niece, or I don't know who in your families, made this stupid ass comment about your boyfriend being into men and whatnot. Bullshit. I don't know who said this, but like, I'm just gonna assume it's your cousin or your mother. I don't know why, but your mother just like boom came into my brain. Let's stick with your mother. Your mother has lived, or your cousin, it doesn't matter, Matilda has lived her entire life being overweight and being fat, and it comes with all the good stuff in terms of being safe and secure and whatnot, right? Having like actually taken up space can sometimes be a necessity, and a lot of very skinny people don't have that sense of I'm important, I take up space. But it also comes with all of the negative stuff. It's very uncomfortable to walk. It's very uncomfortable to be in this body. It's heavy, it's stressful. Just like standing is fucking exhausting, for fuck's sakes. Let's not even go down the rabbit hole of finding the right clothes that fit you, that are comfortable and do not make you look like freaking grandma, right? Do not make you look like horrible. So there are a lot of very negative sides to being that way. But again, Matilda, I think I gave the name, yeah. Matilda is under the impression that she cannot change, or actually on subconscious level is scared of the change. She's afraid of it. She has made her darkness acceptable by putting like all of these conditions and all of these justifications into it. And now she's like, yeah, I am uncomfortable as fuck in my huge body, but I'm just gonna tell myself that this is how we are supposed to be. God made us like that. This is how a woman needs to be, right? Just to like be comfortable in the immense discomfort of the darkness. Now you leave that clan. You step out, you do something that they, based on their upbringing, are deeming to be unimaginable. You left the family out there, you, right? So you leave, you live a different life, and you come back in 20 pounds less than before. Oh, that's triggering. It's not because you did something wrong. It's because your light, your newfound light, is shining very fucking bright into their shitty ass bubble of darkness. And now they see that what they deem to be unimaginable, impossible is the word I'm looking for. Thank you, brain. What they deem to be impossible, you all of a sudden made possible. And you're glowing a little bit more, and you look a little bit better, and you feel a little bit better, while they are still the same. Oh shit, you become a threat now. Because now your light shines so fucking bright that it illuminates their dark ass corner. And now they actually have to take a look. Or they have like the opportunity, you know, they have the option to either take a look at their own crap and get inspired by you and go a similar route, or to just keep justifying it. And the best way that they can keep justifying it is to try to turn off your light. That's the entire enchilada. And it can be your brother, your sister, your mom. It can be your best fucking friend. I think a lot of us have had experiences where we went through a shitty phase in our life where we were maybe overweight, maybe we struggled with some skin condition, maybe we felt ugly, maybe we were just flat out depressed or broke as fuck, right? And our friend was there for us, but our friend was always kind of a little bit above us, you know? It was always kind of like the friend has more stuff going for them than we had going for them. And then the second we level up, we get rid of acne, we lose the weight, we do something to our hair to all of a sudden look fabulous, right? We just get over the depression. It's out of our system. We do better. We start earning money, and maybe even a little bit more than our friend has. All of a sudden, the dynamic shifts. And all of a sudden, your friend who loved you, bullshit term, who pretended to love you while they were better than you and gave you all like the motivation and yeah, and you can do this and I'm here for you and blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, when you come very close to their level and maybe even surpass it, you become a threat. All of a sudden, the dynamic has changed, has shifted, and they are very much fucking uncomfortable with that. So instead of, I don't know, being glad that you have made it out there and now taking you being a little bit up here as a reason to allow you to take them and swoop them up there. In an ideal world, this is how friendship is supposed to be. You start out somewhere like this, then this person supports this person and coming up there, surpassing this person, and then this person supports this person in coming up there, surpassing. And this is how we learn and build on top of another. And we really support the living shit out of each other and growing into the best human people, the best version of humans that we can be. Right? This is the ideal, but in our reality, the second something is better than us, doing it better than us, looks more like shiny, more successful, more richer than us, we get fucking triggered because all of a sudden it's like, how did they do it? Why didn't I? Why not the fuck me? And a conscious creator who is authentic to themselves and is at least working on healing themselves will realize that, I can take this as motivation. I can take this as guidance. I can learn something from this, right? And I can take this, the light of the other person that's now brighter than it was before, to shine into my little dark corners and be like, what's up? What's going on? Where do I hold myself back? Here I see you, little motherfucker. And then just like transmute it, alchemize that bitch and swoop up yourself. That would be the ideal conscious creator version. But in all reality, people try to then defend their darkness. And it's very uncomfortable. So we either then start fighting with these people or we start trying to dim their light. We start trying to drag them down. We start trying to make them feel bad. Because when they felt worse than us, we felt good. But now they're feeling better than us. Now they don't feel so good anymore in comparison. Well, shit. Right? And this is what happens here. And this is what happens everywhere. I have triggered people simply by existing. The amount of fucking times I had not just friends, but also even strangers approach me when I was just like sitting in a bar writing emails, where people would just come and tell me like, yeah, you're so unapproachable, you look so arrogant. I'm like, minding my own business completely. And then they get to know me and I don't think there's a single, maybe one, but let's say 99.9% of all of my friends who are still around with me have the same fucking idea of me and they said the same things about me. When I first saw you for the very first time, I was intimidated and I thought that you're an arrogant bitch. But now that I actually got to know you, I realized that I was stupid. And I'm like, yeah, congratulations. That's how it is. I had one of my closest friends freak out and tell me, Nis, why the fuck do I constantly get triggered around you? We're sitting somewhere in a park talking about enchiladas or burritos. We're talking about stupid shit. We're actually having fun. And yet I am triggered by you. And I'm like, well, congratulations. It's your darkness that says, yoo-hoo, attention, please. It's not me. I'm not doing anything to you. I'm like literally just existing, right? And understanding this, and also seeing it that when you are the one who gets triggered by the light of another person, understanding that you actually have like a big fat opportunity to like shine into your own dark corners. I get triggered all the fucking time, right? But I just transmute it in a better way. I don't get triggered in this I don't want to say justification and for the millionth time, there's a different self-defensive mechanism. I do not get triggered when I see somebody who has achieved more than me, right? Who I deem to be like, whoa. I don't get triggered into self-defense mechanism. I get triggered into inspiration. I see somebody who has accomplished something that I have not yet accomplished. I'm like, teach me. I need to learn this. I want to be like you. This is what I do. And I use them and I approach them from that attitude. I go like, whoa, this is so awesome. Can you teach me how that you do this? I want to do this too. Oh my God. So I see them as motivation. I see them as role model for me. sometimes it's just one little tiny ass aspect. I see somebody having like really phenomenal nails while I kind of still suck-ish in my nail art design stuff on myself. I see those amazing nails. I ask them, whoa, where did you get them done? And they say, well, I did them myself at home. And, oh my God, teach me everything. This is amazing. I want that too. This is my approach to it, right? So you can totally use that to your advantage and really understand that. Whenever somebody behaves like a piece of shit to you, it is because your light is threatening their darkness. It makes them scared shitless. That's the only reason. There's nothing wrong with you. That's evidence for them having a lack of something, their incapability, not yours. Really not. Only when you then get triggered into the same fucking behavior, if you behave like a dipshit, if you shoot back directly, right? If you react instead of respond in your actions, well, then you're on the same. Then you're just a match, and then you need to look at your own crap, right? So 111, wait, 11, 11, 11. Perfect way to end. Bye.